Good morning, everyone. It's time for our midweek movement break. And today we are going to explore 3 very simple moves that will actually help your back. And if you don't know, I have a workshop tomorrow that is called Love Your Low Back or Low Back Love. And we are looking all at how to begin to get on the path to healing in a permanent way from our back pain. I have a visitor coming. If you can get past the giant ball. My dog's coming in to say hi. So let's get to our moves for today. If you have questions, let me know, and I'd love to have you join me tomorrow for the workshop. Fortunately, he's not coming onto my mat, but we're going to be on the floor for the whole time here, so you can just come on down onto your back. Have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. We've hit the point of weather here in the Northeast that I've got my smart wool socks on because it's chilly. So we're just going to come and lie on the back. Have your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. If you get here and you find like your chin is poking way up towards the ceiling, you may want to put something underneath your shoulders and then also underneath your head. But otherwise, just let yourself settle in. So it's almost lunchtime here on the East Coast, and that means I'm about midway through my day, and I'm just going to work to notice my breathing. I wish I could turn the camera to show you my dog right now because he's being ridiculous. But maybe it's earlier in the morning. Maybe it's 9 o'clock where you are. Or maybe you're in Europe and it's later. So wherever you are in your day, your breath is a really nice reflection kind of how your day is going. So just notice what it's like. Just kind of be with your breath for a few moments. Though this does not look like much of a pose, it's a really nice position to come into to sort of allow everything from your rib cage and shoulders down to your pelvis to just start to release a bit and let go. You don't have to hold on to everything quite so hard in the way that we often tend to do. So what we're going to do now is a pose that's called butterfly pose. And I'm going to bring my legs together. You can decide if it feels better to have your feet a little bit apart. But with my legs together, I'm just going to let them start to slowly open out to the side, noticing what that movement is like, and then bringing them back in. And we're going to repeat this a couple times. And what you're going to do is bring your hands in here to what's called the hip crease. And if you pick your legs up, you can kind of feel your hip flexors engage. So I want you to be aware of where those hip flexors are and then rest your hands right over them. And as you bring your legs out to the side, what we're really doing is kind of rotating the femur head in our hip socket. I want you to notice, do those hip flexors start to engage? And if they do, how far can you move? Maybe it's only like to here before those hip flexors start to talk to you and they start to do some work. But if they stay quiet, maybe your legs are going to come all the way out to the side and then back in. If you notice them engaging, you can explore the idea of letting them soften, let's say, as you move. So often, the hip flexors that are meant to kind of move our legs in the front and back plane, they get involved when we go side to side. Let's do one more. And they're actually not really helping us if they do that, so we'd like them to not do that. And then come on back up. And then just reset your feet and take a minute to notice How's your body feel after doing that? And then let's bring arms up to the sky. I'm going to scooch myself just a little bit so I don't hit my piano. So with your arms up to the sky, notice your shoulder blades on the ground, and really slowly let your arms start to come overhead, and you don't have to go past, like, let's say where sort of your eyes or your ears are, and then come on back up. So move in a range that feels really, really easy. No forcing. And if it makes something hurt, don't go that far. But now that you've got the motion, start to notice, particularly like lower ribs down to your low back and pelvis. Do you feel anything there as you're moving these arms? Or does it feel like that part of your body stays relatively quiet? And let's do one more of these. And then just let your arms come down by your side and notice how your shoulders feel. Now bring your thumb and your first finger together so that they're kind of touching, and then touch your two hands together. Crazy Aaron's thinking putty is really popular in my household right now. So I want you to imagine that someone gave you some Crazy Aaron's thinking putty, and you've got your elbows kind of out to the side. If I turn like this, you can see that that's how I have my hands and my arms. And you're holding some thinking putty, and you're going to draw it out, like stretch it out, so that your elbows stay bent, but they come towards the side, and then they come back together. So you stretch it out. So basically your fingers are staying directly opposite from each other, and they're just widening apart and back together. Apart and back together. And notice like how is your arm bone, your upper arm bone, moving in your shoulder socket? And is there any response in your back body? Lower ribs, down to the low back, down to the pelvis. How does all that feel? And one more time, draw them apart. And then come back together. And then just let your hands come down again by your side. And then come back to your breath. It can be so challenging to notice your breath without starting to manipulate it. So the best that you can, don't manipulate your breath. Just notice. And just be with your breath again, observing if anything has shifted. And then when you're ready, you can roll to your side and come on up. And that is our midweek movement break for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about any of the moves, feel free to pop it into the comments, and I will see you back here next week.